A warning to drivers this Halloween. Police want you to know the risks of the road this holiday season and what you can do to stay safe.
Uber announces a new safety feature that could help police get to an emergency situation a lot faster with the click of a button.
Local street vendors get some good news from city council members and see how the new plan will affect their business.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
We almost crashed because of that, and yeah, that's what it does, too, yeah.
Driving under the influence becomes more of an issue during the holidays, from Halloween to the end of the year. Good evening, I'm Taylor Elliott.
And I'm Colin Taylor. Reporter Trevor Sahaki shows us how police are warning students of the risk.
Gabriel Perez almost lost his life because of his friend.
He's been drinking, and then he also smoked, and he was the driver, and he said he was okay, and we're like, okay.
Perez's friend was not okay.
He drove his car, and then while he was in the freeway, he just dozed off, and he started going to the right too much, and so we had to call him, because I think he was just stuck, thinking about something, and we almost crashed because of that, and yeah, that's what it does, too, yeah.
Between 2012 and 2016, there have been 168 drunk driving deaths across the nation on Halloween, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The consequences of driving under the influence tonight are even greater with trick-or-treaters on the sidewalks.
You'd be surprised how many people we actually come in contact that have been drinking or have been using drugs and then drive. It's pretty frequent.
That's why police gave students at El Camino College today a chance to experience driving under the influence. They put on kaleidoscope-esque goggles and tried to shoot a basketball or drive a course in a golf cart.
It was horrible. I couldn't see, and I was scared of hitting somebody because there's people standing there, and then it was just bad.
Now, I never had much of a jump shot, but these glasses don't help at all.
We like to target, particular right before holidays. A lot of people do drink during holidays, and this is right at the day of. So if we're able to prevent just one student or one person from drinking and driving, then we've done our job.
Despite the laughter, the point got across. For Perez, the scariest thing he wants to see tonight is his friends' costumes. For Annenberg Media, I'm Trevor Sahaki.
Uber is rolling out a new emergency feature in its app after working with the Los Angeles Police Department for about 6 months. Starting today, when you push the emergency button in the app, details like the exact location, make and model of the car, and license plate will be sent automatically to 911 dispatchers. This feature works for both riders and drivers.
For the vast majority of people, there are no incidents during their trip. So for the vast majority, it's not going to really change anything. What we hope is that people see it and they know that it's there.
Uber is working with other cities in Southern California to expand its technology so that 911 calls automatically provide more information to police.
Members of the Beth Jacob congregation in Irvine woke up this morning to find their synagogue walls vandalized with anti-Semitic graffiti. This comes just days after the deadly shooting at a temple in Pittsburgh.
Just very disheartening and disappointing to see it happen in your own community. It's an unfortunate reality of the times we're living in. That said, to have something specifically happen in your own backyard is different from, it happened to your larger global community.
In the wake of recent events, USC Hillel has began making changes to ensure Jewish students feel safe on campus. These include 24-hour video surveillance and keeping the door to Hillel shut and locked during business hours.
We're taking every step we can to be precautious. Our doors have been locked since Saturday, and we really struggle as a Jewish organization on a campus where we want to be open to all students, that we physically have to be closed. And so there's this dichotomy of our mission to provide this warm, welcoming space while our physical doors are preventing people from coming in.
Irvine police are investigating the vandalism and urge anyone with information to come forward. A 13-year-old autistic boy is back with his family tonight after going missing this afternoon at USC's Health Science campus. Saul Perez was last seen on the 4th floor lobby of USC Healthcare Center. At around 11 o'clock, DPS sent out a Trojan alert about the missing teenager. According to DPS, Perez's father told authorities his son used the bathroom and never returned. Perez was found on the street corner of Olympic and 7th near the Greyhound station, where LAPD took him back to his family.
The LA City Attorney today announced the office is seeking injunctions against 3 online e-cigarette companies for allegedly targeting minors. Reporter Wei Chin now shows us how lawsuits are aimed at protecting young people.
The suit alerts the illegal sale of vaping products online, the sale of the tobacco products without federal approval, and marketing that promotes the e-cigarette use to teens.
Niware Inc., Vapeco Distribution, LLC, and Candy Pens, Inc. We allege that these companies are purposely targeting their marketing to kids. We allege that these companies are selling their products online, and they're not making it difficult at all for kids to get their hands on their products.
Attorney Mike Freeler said his office pretended to be a child and went online to buy the products. The suit alerts these companies are using Instagram and YouTube as well as flavored liquids to attract young people to become e-cigarette smokers. According to the Food and Drug Administration, more than 2 million middle and high school students are regular users of e-cigarettes. USC student Marcus Shaman said he and his young siblings are e-cigarette users.
You have like fruit flavors and they taste like candy, right? Like they're specifically targeted at, 15 and 16-year-olds, 14, as young as like 12 and 13-year-old kids that are just like, oh, it's just like a flavored like thing and it makes me look sick, and they have no idea what it's going to do to them or like that it even has nicotine in it.
An expert in lung issues in children says kids are aware from early childhood that cigarette smoking is dangerous, but it is different for e-cigarettes. The lawsuits also seek injunctions prohibiting the companies from selling products over the internet without the use of age verification procedures. For Annenberg Media, I'm Wei Chen.
Street vendors are celebrating today after a vote from LA City Council to move them forward with regulations for sidewalk sales. Reporter Joe Calabrese takes a look at the decision and what's next.
Vasquez, though, is still confident for the future.
One of NASA's most famous space telescopes has hit its end. The Kepler telescope has finally ran out of fuel.
The construction of thousands of new apartments and condos could be put on hold. We'll have the details of the new lawsuit against the city up next.
Hi, I'm outside the LA Greek Theater, where in just a few minutes the concert for the late, great Mac Miller is about to begin. I'll have that story for you next.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter? A new lawsuit aims to stop LA from building housing along the Expo Metro line. Annenberg Media's Kara Heiss has more details on the complaint.
A plan to build 6,000 new apartments and condos near Metro lines is being challenged. A West LA nonprofit is suing the city of Los Angeles over the plan. Fix the City is taking issue with the fact that current city services in the area cannot support more housing.
Years ago, that it would not increase density unless there was adequate infrastructure and public safety services.
The City Council approved the plan in July. It included zoning for taller buildings. In the complaint, the group argued the need to protect residents when it comes to things like street repairs. A transportation research company did a study on roads in the LA area, which led to the complaint being filed.
Percent of major roads are in poor condition, and about 79% of roads are in poor or mediocre condition. That is costing drivers in the form of vehicle operating costs about $921 each year.
The Expo Plan is a specific plan adopted in an area in the city of Los Angeles, affecting nearly 2,000 acres and all properties within a half-mile of Exposition light rail stations in West LA. Many LA residents choose to live close to public transportation. Kyle Apuna works at Core Power Yoga in the USC Village and takes the Expo line every day from West LA.
Proximity to the metro station is something that I look for in housing. It's something I look for in my work as well.
The nonprofit says they don't have a problem with building more housing as long as the city can support the infrastructure. The city's attorney's office said they had no comment on the lawsuit because the office has not reviewed the complaint. For Annenberg Media, I'm Kara Heiss.
Tonight, a concert remembering the life of Mac Miller is taking place at the LA Greek Theater, and a variety of musicians are coming out to pay tribute to the late rapper. Our entertainment reporter Brogan Craner is live outside the venue.
Thanks, Colin and Taylor. I'm standing outside of the LA Greek Theater where in just minutes the Mac Miller Celebration of Life concert is about to begin. Many fans are currently flocking into the theater, as you can see behind me. Some of them are wearing Mac Miller hats, some of them are wearing Mac Miller t-shirts, but all of them just want to be a part of this special homage to the popular musician. The late rapper died in September at the age of 26 of an apparent drug overdose. Now his family and friends are turning that tragedy into a joyous occasion the only way they know how, through music. Many of Miller's friends and fellow music industry superstars are performing tonight. Some such names include Chance the Rapper, Travis Scott, SZA, and John Mayer, just to name a few. Now, this isn't the only thing happening tonight. The concert is also in conjunction and benefiting the launch of a brand new charity called the Mac Miller Circles Fund, which works to provide support, relief, and resources to children in underserved areas. Now, you can also join in on the celebration as it's being live streamed on Twitter, Facebook, Tidal, YouTube, just to name a few. Catch it at 6:30. It's going to be a great show. I highly recommend it. Catch it before you go out to that holiday party or study between midterms, whatever you're up to, definitely catch it. And I am down in Los Angeles at the Greek Theater. I'm Brogan Craner. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brogan. Well, I wonder what Halloween has in store for us tonight.
Definitely. Sammy, how's that Halloween weather?
Well, not gonna lie, it's looking pretty spooky if you can see the wonderful Halloween decorations around me. But if we're looking at the weather itself tonight, it's been a comfortable 75 most of the day, so you might be a little bit more comfortable wearing sweaters if you're going out trick-or-treating. But if not, it's still pretty good, comfortable weather. And moving on into tomorrow's weather, significantly less spooky, but still nice and comfortable, especially in the inland area. 85, warmer in the a little bit cooler. But if we take a look at the temperatures, wow. Okay, well, looking at the rest of this week's forecasts, tomorrow, throughout the rest of the week, it's going to continue staying sunny and clear, comfortable in the 60s, so a little bit cooler. Maybe start the morning with a sweater on. And then Saturday, of course, you need to remember to set your clocks back. We have daylight savings time coming up, so don't lose yourself in the vast abyss of time. Speaking of things that have lost themselves, yesterday the Kepler telescope ran out of fuel 9 years after it launched into space. The Kepler is credited for discovering and taking data on over 2,000 planets, which accounts for over 70% of all known alien worlds in our galaxy. Its mission, which ran for twice as long as expected, has finally come to a close, as it can no longer use the fuel to make course adjustments.
Well, there's no chance of Kepler coming back to Earth and hitting anybody in the head. I say it's not even in orbit around the Earth. So it's just going to sit out there kind of looking at things. It's going to kind of drift around and wander and maybe not look at anything particularly interesting to scientists, but it's still there and we still can communicate with it for the foreseeable future.
Kepler's legacy will be carried on by the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, or TESS, which launched last April. With updated technology, TESS is expected to discover and monitor even more planets within our galaxy in the upcoming year, continuing the search for life beyond our own.
Well, I can't even believe that the telescope was in space that long, but thank you, Sammy.
That's definitely incredible. Street vendors are celebrating today after a vote from LA City Council to move forward with regulations for sidewalk sales. Reporter Joe Calabrese takes a look at what's next.
Under a new state law, sidewalk vending in California will be decriminalized. This morning, the Los Angeles City Council voted unanimously to move forward with regulations for the practice. It's a step vendor Caridad Vasquez never thought they'd reach.
Como vendedora, a nombre de todos mis compañeros.
As a vendor, on behalf of all my peers, I am really happy the council members are really invested in our campaign and in the laws that they are creating.
The City Council's potential plan includes no vending zones at high-traffic attractions like the Coliseum. Councilman Curran Price also laid out a plan for a permit system.
While today's decision marks a step forward for an LA-specific law, street vendor advocates like Rosa Miranda believe education is key.
Yo lo que quiero decirle a los vendedores ambulantes es que estamos en
What I want to say to street vendors is that this is a victorious moment, but we need to get organized because a lot of vendors are still not aware that this law exists. So, we have won, but we still need to get organized to prove that we're a strong economical force here in this city.
Some businesses and organizations around the state have expressed concerns about vendor regulations. In response to the state law, the League of California Cities said that the bill goes too far by restricting a local jurisdiction's ability to regulate street vendors and treats them differently than other entrepreneurs in the community. Vasquez, though, is still confident for the future.
Optimistic that this will go well because that's what we've been fighting for the last 10 years.
The City Council will revisit the issue at a meeting next month. For Annenberg Media, I'm Joe Calabrese.
Proposition 6 would let voters decide if they want to pay less at the gas pump, but at what cost? Reporter Miriam Fuentes spoke to advocates on both sides of the issue.
Like most drivers, Wendy Mendez wishes she didn't have to spend so much money on gas.
I would say that a third of my check goes to paying gas, but what can I say? I have to go to school.
Californians pay the highest gas prices in the nation, but Mendez says while she wishes gas was cheaper, she doesn't mind paying extra if it keeps roads safe.
I can pay more if it helps us get better streets.
Voters across the state will weigh in by voting on Proposition 6. Prop 6, known as the gas tax repeal, would eliminate a law passed last year that raised taxes and vehicle registration fees. That money was targeted for road repairs and other transportation funds.
A lot of people out there that are fed up and frustrated and they're mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore.
San Diego City Councilman Carl DeMaio has been holding rallies across the state. His goal? To encourage voters to support Prop 6. He and other advocates say the gas tax is a burden on working-class families.
But it will provide working families with the relief they need for their bills at a time when cost of living is too high.
San Dimas resident Wendy Gish supports eliminating the tax because she says living in California is expensive enough.
Because no one's going to be able to afford to live in this state if we continue with these crazy taxes.
Opponents say striking down the gas tax means less money for much-needed road repairs, such as this one.
You want kids to be able to get to school safely when they're walking. You want commuters to have safe, smooth rides so that their cars aren't being damaged by potholes, that the lines are visible for safer driving.
Prop 6 would also require voters to approve any future gas and transportation-related taxes. For Annenberg TV News, this is Miriam Fuentes.
And for what's going on with sports, let's go ahead and toss it for Sports Angel.
All right, awesome. Well, we're tossing pumpkins, it's Halloween, and we're talking all things USC football as the Trojans gear up for Oregon State this weekend. And more specifically, we'll look at head coach Clay Helton and which big name vouched for him, supporting him last night. And hard to believe it, folks, but USC Hoops is back, and sports correspondent Cecil Hannibal has you covered with a preview. ATVN Sports is next.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us when others are down to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
And welcome back to ATVN. Well, safe to say that the USC football teams lost last week to Arizona State and those Sun Devils. Has everyone feeling like USC is in a bit of an inferno right now? And folks feel that head coach Clay Helton should be feeling the heat, but take a listen to last night's Trojans Live episode where Helton seemed to be getting some pretty stout support from athletic director Lynn Swann.
Well, there are a lot of things that factor into it. And number one is that I believe in Clay Helton. I like the position he takes. Clay is passionate about what he does, and Clay is honest and real about what he wants to accomplish and how he wants to accomplish.
Swann was pretty adamant in noting that the program was, quote, in a good place and needs stability at the head coaching spot. But I want you folks to notice that Swann never guaranteed that Helton would be USC's coach in 2019. I'm just saying. And while there is some uncertainty for this team, here's what for certain. The Trojans have a tough road trip this weekend as they head to Corvallis to take on Oregon State. The Trojans will be doing battle with a Beaver team that just last week rallied to overcome a 31-3 deficit against Colorado to come away with the win over the Buffs on the road. And Clay Helton knows that anytime you play in Corvallis, you're in for a tough one.
Should be a great test for us. You know, going to Corvallis is always a hard place to play. The fans are very proud of their football there. It's a loud place, hostile place, as well as we may get some weather. So we practice a lot today.
USC and OSU will kick off at 7 p.m. this Saturday, and if the Trojans lose, they are virtually eliminated from the Pac-12 South race. And now, transitioning to a team that looks pretty far from being eliminated from anything, let's chat a bit about the number 2 ranked USC women's soccer team. Senior forward Leah Pruitt chatted with us about the team's big match with number 8 UCLA this Saturday.
It's a big rivalry, so I'm really excited, and I mean, I really want to win, so I think our whole team, we had a little group meeting and just talked about how we think we can win, and it's because they're from the same city as us, and we know it's such a big rival, and it just means a lot to the USC family.
USC's season finale with the Bruins will be going down this Saturday at the StubHub Center in Carson. The women of Troy are unbeaten in their last 7 matches. And get this, they haven't surrendered a goal to an opponent in the last 398 minutes of game time. That's a lot of time, folks. With a win against UCLA on Saturday, the women of Troy would clinch win number 16 on the season and would cap off one of the most successful regular seasons in program history. And it's that time of the year, folks. November is here, and that means that USC men's basketball action is back on the hardwood, and sports correspondent Cecil Hannibal has more on the hype behind USC hoops. Cecil?
College basketball is just around the corner. Next week, the men's team kicks off their season against Robert Morris. Last year, the Trojans were 26-10, just short of making the big dance. Going into this season, Trojan fans should be excited. Some key players have returned, and possibly a future star will make his debut. Yeah, I'm talking about this guy right here, Kevin Porter Jr. Porter Jr. was the #1 player in his home state of Washington. He's 6'6" with an attitude to make up for his slim frame. And did I forget to mention, he can do this. Wow, this guy is a highlight machine just waiting to happen. Players like this don't come around too often, so the coaching staff will have to utilize him while he's here in Southern Cal. As for returning players, senior Benny Boatwright is one of the 20 players to be named to the preseason watch list for the Karl Malone Award as the nation's top power forward. Now, it's too early to say what this team will accomplish this year, but with all this talent, things are looking bright for USC basketball. Angel, back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much for that, Cecil. The USC men's basketball team will open their season against Robert Morris at the Galen Center next Tuesday. So this team could be scary good, including Kevin Porter. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you, Angel. NASA engineers take pumpkin carving to another level.
We'll show you when we get back.
Hey guys, Danny Trejo here. There was going to be a whole song and dance routine about how you should wait your turn to enter the train. But they got me, Danny Trejo, to talk to you instead. Look, when you don't wait your turn to enter the train, it's rude and potentially dangerous. And believe me, I know a thing or two about rude and dangerous. I'm Danny Trejo. Don't be like rude, dude. Be kind, like super kind. Excuse me.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
You might think you've seen it all when it comes to carving pumpkins, but leave it to NASA's engineers to carve some creations that are completely out of this world. Take a look at these pumpkins, complete with moving parts and flashing lights. The contest took place at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena. It's the 7th annual carving competition. Well, thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Colin Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Elliott. Well, guys, any plans for Halloween?
Yeah, trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating. Gonna go make a mini pie.
There we go. Nothing but candy.
Well, thanks. You can watch us online at uscannenbergmedia.com. From all of us at the desk, good night.
Happy Halloween.
Frighton.
Oh.
Frighton, not Frighton. Frighton. Yeah, baby.